Gabriela Borospi, a political analyst. Gabriela, good to have you with us. All right, Gabriela, so you heard the president calling Tucker Carlson kooky. What say you?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different, versions about why Tucker is taking this stance, right? Some say he's received some type of money from Qatar, from the Middle East. Others say there's not enough evidence for that, and he's just completely anti-war. The base is definitely divided. I think we all voted for peace. I don't think anyone wants to see a war and have that affect American soldiers and have all that revenge then come on to us. I think nobody wants that, right? But some people, the difference is some people think it's necessary. They think Iran is a real threat, so we should definitely, attack them and get rid of that threat. I don't think attacking them will eliminate that threat. I think we could actually make things worse. I think an agreement, having them sit on the table with an agreement, it's what was the original plan. And I think we should be aiming for that rather than, just going after them. Historically, that has never worked out very well for us.
Jason, I'm curious, were you surprised that so many in MAGA world are now turning on the president when it comes to Iran?
Not surprised. I mean, there's a lot of people, and you have to think about President Trump has run on a platform of keeping us out of wars, that we are not the nation's police, that we need to focus more on America. But I think this is even more so an illustration of this sudden change that occurred. I mean, if you think about this, we have done all we can to extract ourselves from so many of the positions around the world, to pull back our military, to focus on growing and expanding our military. President Trump obviously was aware of what Israel was going to do, but he also didn't commit forward forces, and he didn't reposition military force around the world until suddenly he goes to the G7 summit and something changed. In my opinion, everything I've seen, 21 years in the military doesn't just suddenly make unilateral decisions. Obviously, something drove this. I think there was a change in intelligence. And I think the Iranians probably were closer to their ability to produce a nuclear weapon, and maybe we're even considering how can they use this, because they really have no outs. And I think that probably led the president of the United States to make the decision against what he normally likes. But he has to make a decision that's not only best for the American people, but best for our allies.
Yeah, Gabriela, that's just where I don't understand. Again, people like yourself on the MAGA side that are opposed to this. President Trump has really never wavered here. His opinion about Iran has never changed. Are you saying that we should just let Iran develop the nuclear weapon and pray that they don't use it against us?
No, I don't think we should let them do that and pray they don't use it against us. I think we should do the original plan. The original plan is to have them sign an agreement, bring them to the table, and he's the best negotiator in the world, right? I mean, at least that's one of the reasons why I voted for him, because I really believed in his ability to negotiate, bring leaders, even if they're not our allies, right, on the table and have them agree to certain things. And that's what I think he was hoping for, but something happened, and for whatever reason, it hasn't worked out. Okay, I think people are concerned this is going to backfire. People are concerned that this is going to start affecting our country, our soldiers, our communities. And the main reason so many of us voted was to not be dragged into more wars. So I think an agreement is what we need. I don't think dragging us into a foreign war in the Middle East, which he's also said he opposes that, right? There's multiple tweets of him saying that getting involved in the Middle East has been the most ridiculous journey we've ever had, that we've ever done. And he's criticized the opposition for that. It's documented, So I think there's something here that we don't quite understand. Maybe things are worse than what they're sharing with us, but there's also contradictions, right? So Tulsi Gabbard testified in March and said, Iran is not developing a nuclear war. And she's the director of national intelligence. So we want to trust our leaders, but then when they start contradicting each other, something's just not adding up. And I think it's
all right, Gabriella, hold on. I got to bring Jason in here to respond to all of this. Jason, again, the question is, I don't understand their rationale here. I'd much rather stop them before they launch the nuclear weapon at us or Israel. And the idea that not doing that gives them some sort of moral high ground, I don't get that.
Well, let's